All right, the next lab exercise is application load balancer. With this lab exercise, we'll be able to achieve diverting the HTTP and HTTPS based traffic to the respective web server, which is in working condition. All right. Let's perform this lab exercise. Let me take you back to my AWS Management Console. Okay, let's create 2 to 3 virtual machines that will be converting into a web server. Further, we will create a web page and add these virtual machines to the load balancer. So here I'm choosing Linux-based virtual machines. Of course, you can also select a Windows-based virtual machine if you want to perform this lab exercise. Choice is yours. I'm referring to Linux VM 1. I will call it ALB, Application Load Balancer, VM1 maybe. The operating system is Linux. Key pair, yes, of course, we need to create a key pair. Remember, we are not logging into this virtual machine. We are just creating a web server. Security group, yes, we need HTTP rule to be enabled. I'll go to advanced settings and create the script. So this is the script which I have already kept ready. So for this first web server, I will, this is the content that will be displayed when you open the public IP address of this virtual machine. So let me make some modification. Okay, the background color of this web page will be orange, and it will display the content, welcome to Application Load Balancer Lab. I'll call it precisely VM1. So we'll know VM1, VM2, VM3 like that. Okay, I will copy this startup script. Click on Launch Instance.
Sir, can you paste it in the chat, please?
Yes, I will. Okay, now the first virtual machine is up and running. It is a web server now. Remember, we have provided the startup script. So this is the script that we have provided. So as per this script, it created, it installed Apache web server, started that daemon service, and created a standard web page with a one-line statement. It says, welcome to Application Load Balancer VM1. All right, so let's test it. I have chosen this VM1, copied the public IP address, open another tab in the browser. Okay, good. Now our virtual machine 1 is a web server, and also a default web page has been hosted. Similarly, let us create 2 more web server. The procedural thing is the same. Create launch instance, create a new VM, I will call it application load balancer, VM2. I'm going with the same Amazon machine image, that is Linux. Key pair, I will choose the existing key pair itself. You can also create a new key pair. This is very important step. You need to allow HTTP traffic for the internet. And the advanced settings tab, provide the user data. Remember, I have the user data already available. Here, I will make little bit changes. I will call it VM2, so that when when our load balancer is sending the user to this particular web page, web server, we should be able to make out where the user is getting diverted, correct? And click on launch instance. So now the VM2 is getting created. Similarly, I will create one more VM. The same operating system I'm choosing. Key pair, existing key pair I will select. Allow HTTP traffic. Additional advanced details. Under that, provide the startup script. I'll call it VM3. Okay, now one VM1 is working. VM2 and VM3 are getting created. It is getting initialized. Let us wait till it comes online. Now we can see two virtual machines are getting initialized and one is already up and running. Okay, here you can see all the three virtual machines are up and running. VM1, let us test it. Let us capture the public IP address and check for the working status of this VM1. Yes, it says welcome to application load balancer VM1. Similarly, let us check for VM2. Let us capture the public IP address, open another tab, copy paste that public IP. Yes, this VM web server is also working. It says you have reached VM2. Similarly, let's check for the third VM. I captured the public IP. Okay, good. So all the three virtual machines are working, web servers are working. So here what happens, if you need to share this public IP or the DNS name with the end users, you cannot share individual IP addresses or individual domain names, correct? This is like google1.com. This is google2.com, google3.com. What if there are 10,000 web servers? Does it mean you need to provide so many web server domain names or the IP addresses to the users? No. So here what we do, we will create a load balancer, add all these virtual machines to that load balancer. So this load balancer will have a domain name like google.com, amazon.com, microsoft.com. Okay. So when the user tries to access that website, web page like google.com, amazon.com, that load balancer will take that request and divert the traffic among these backend web servers that are there in the pool. Okay, that we are going to perform now. So we have all the three virtual machines up and running. We'll go to AWS Management Console, or at the search bar itself, I will type load balancer. So we have load balancer service available. Select that service. Click on create load balancer. As of now, there are no load balancers available. We have three types of load balancers available that we have already discussed: application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer. So this particular lab is all about application load balancer because we are diverting the traffic that we receive it through HTTP and HTTPS. So scroll down, click on create, provide the load balancer name. I'll call it ALB, that is application load balancer lab 1. So what type of load balancer is this? Is it facing the internet? Yes, of course, because we are receiving the traffic via internet, correct? And next, what type of IPv address? We will go with the default standard IPv4. And this is the standard VPC, virtual private cloud, which is available. We have not created any custom VPC. We have two availability zones in this particular region, North California. I will select both the availability zones. So if my VMs are available in any of these locations, the network traffic, the HTTP or HTTPS traffic will be diverted here. I have the security group. While creating the virtual machine, I have selected each time to create a new security group. So thereby I'm selecting all the security groups. So it is in this security group, I have provided the HTTP rule. You remember? So based on that rule, the web traffic will be diverted. Suppose you have created only one security group, then you need not to create multiple security groups. You can provide that default security group, whatever that you have created. So what is the listener port? The listener port is HTTP, correct? The port number 80. Suppose you want to add HTTPS, yes, you can add, you can create one more listener group. So all good to go. All the settings are good and fine. Go ahead, click on create load balancer. I think this name is already taken, or I cannot use the underscore. I can use hyphen. Okay, here we just jumped one step. We need to create a target group. That is the virtual machines. Remember the three VMs what we have created. We need to add those VMs into a group. We need to make a group, and for that group, we will be creating the DNS name or the IP address. So as of now, there are no target groups available. Click on create group. So the listener is port number 80. I'm creating a new target group. So these target groups, that is the backend, we have instances, EC2 instances, right? That is what we converted into web servers. So that is what we are selecting. And this is the default path, the name of the file in your web server. Remember, we have created in the startup script, we have provided the name called index.html. That is the name I'm providing. Suppose you have given a different name, you can choose that name as well. I'll have to provide a name for the target group, what we are creating now. The new target group has been created. So these are all the three virtual machines that we have created, where we have our web server created. So we will include all of them in the target group. Create a target group now. So now the target group has been created. We will have to attach this target group into our load balancer. You will see two tabs here side by side, correct? This is the place where we have created on create target group. When we have clicked on create target group, a new tab was opened. In the new tab where we have created this target group name and attached all the virtual machines. Now we will come back to the previous tab where we need to select that target group, what we have created just now. Now we'll see this new target name appearing here, correct? You can see here, it is the same target group name. So I selected that target group name, clicked on create load balancer. So this next tab is no longer needed. We can close it. The load balancer has been created now. Click on view load balancer. So this is the load balancer name that we have provided. It is getting, it is a provisioning. There are two availability zones. Of course, there are only two availability zones in this North California region. And in this region, there are two availability zones and three virtual machines are created, web servers are created. All right, now the application load balancer is ready. It is active. Let us click on this application load balancer. Let us check for the DNS name. Yes, here we have the DNS name. Okay, let us copy this DNS name and open another tab. Okay, now we can see I have three tabs here, totally four tabs. This was VM1, VM2, VM3. I will close all of them. I don't need it. I have straight away used this application load balancer's DNS name. Okay, I'll keep refreshing this tab now. You can see every time it is changing. VM3 now, VM2. Correct, now it is VM1. So what is happening? This is what exactly happens in the real-time scenario. When you are logging into Amazon.in or Google.com, each time the user is getting diverted to a different backend pool of web servers. All these web servers are having the same web page content, but a user will not be able to make out in which particular server they logged into, they got connected. Okay, this lab exercise is for the solution architects who have deployed this real-time scenario, but they should be able to analyze and do the testing, right? Whether those web servers are working fine or not. Okay, now you had seen it is the web traffic is able to divert to all the three web servers, VM1, VM2, VM3. In the real-time scenario, what happens? I will stop or terminate one of the VM. Let us say VM2. I will select, click on stop instance. So there are various possibilities, reasons, right? A virtual machine can be stopped. It may be terminated or it may be stopped, whatever. Now, this virtual machine is stopped. This application load balancer, it is frequently doing the health check. It is keep monitoring the working status of the backend pool web servers. So spontaneously, this application load balancer is able to make out VM2 stopped responding. So it will not divert the traffic to VM2. Now it is VM3, VM1. If I keep refreshing, it will be toggling between VM1 and VM3 only. VM2 will not come up. If VM2 is still, if the application load balancer is still diverting the traffic to VM2, what happens? Any user who is getting diverted to VM2 will getting web page error. Page cannot be displayed, or error 404, 504, 500, correct? So this is all about the application load balancer. We have reached at the end of this lab exercise. We will move on to the next topic.